Learn about my 401 condo and 401 cabin. Is a condo or a cabin a good investment? In this episode, you're going to be blown away with my take on should you invest in a condominium sooner or later for a vacation or a cabin? Yes, you're going to understand why do we put those things off, because that's a fallacy many times from a mathematical standpoint. I'm Doug Andrew, and this is my studio. I've had a national radio show for 11 years. I love to talk to my audiences, be on TV, write books, but this is just a little one-on-one with you right now on something that's near and dear to my heart about what most people do when they save for certain goals in retirement, because I've been a retirement planning specialist for 45 years. And so many times when I would interview people and I'd say, so what is your dream? What do you want to do in your golden years? And all too often people would say, oh, well, my wife and I want to finally build or buy the cabin, the dream cabin, or the condo in a nice warm climate that we can go down to during the winter months. And we just can't wait till we can get to that point in life to do that. Now, to be honest with you, many of those couples that waited and waited and put it off to do something like that, within 90 days, one couple, the wife died. Usually the husband dies first, and she died of a massive heart attack. And he goes, what was all that for? Let me share with you what I call my 401 cabin. Now, there is no section in the Internal Revenue Code that talks about a 401 cabin or condo. That's my terminology. I actually sort of got the idea from Don Blanton. So I have a 401 cabin. I have a 401 condo. And I began to realize, my wife, Sherry, and I, we have 6 children and now 17 grandkids. And most people, they sock away money into tax-deferred IRAs or 401ks, trying to save money to achieve that financial independence. So for example, real true story, way back when we were first married, we decided to buy a piece of property in central Utah. We were very fortunate to pick up this 20 acres and a cabin that my friend had built on that for $100,000. Now, that was a while ago. That cabin has doubled in value. It's appreciated at about 7.2%. And so that will double every 10 years. So in 10 years, it's worth $200,000. Another 10 years, it's worth $400,000. So in 20 years, the cabin we bought 20 years earlier for $100,000 is now worth $400,000, right? This is where most people make mistakes. They go, well, I was socking away the money into an IRA or 401k. I socked away $100,000, and they put it into a tax-deferred account. Let's say they're earning 7.2%, so that doubles in 10 years to $200,000, and it doubles in another 10 years to $400,000. So now they have the $400,000 in a tax-deferred IRA to buy the cabin. They could have bought 20 years earlier for $100,000, but they have the money and they go take out the $400,000, but that's not all their money. They have to pay tax on it. So they pay tax of at least 25%. So they're short. They only have $300,000 after tax. The cabin cost them $400,000. They're still $100,000 short of what they could have bought the cabin for 20 years ago. So let me share with you my take on why that's maybe not the smartest thing to do when you think about what are you going to do with that money? What's your real goal at the end of the day? If you're starting to get this, what do I have with that cabin? And the same is true of a condo. We bought a condo in St. George, Utah for $125,000, and it has also increased in value. And what my wife and I have is file cabinets full of memories, photographs, family vacations with a purpose, of all the experiences we had with our children while we raised them, and the outings to the cabin and the condo. 20 years of memories. And now in the cabin, that's where Sherry and I hold our annual Grandpa's Camp. We've been doing that for 7 years, and this is where our grandchildren come for the week without their parents. I mean, the teenagers come for the first 3 days. We talk teenage talk. We do high adventure stuff. And then the 8, 9, 10, 11-year-olds come and join them with me at 10,500 feet right above our cabin up on a ridge. And the 4, 5, 6, 7-year-olds are with Grandma in the cabin. What I'm talking about is we have 20 years of file cabinets full of photos and memories using the cabin. What do the people have that chose to put it off until they could buy a cabin? They have a file cabinet full of mutual fund IRA 401k statements. Ooh, how exciting. Look, honey, I mean, can you imagine John telling Susie, let's go spend a romantic weekend. Well, we don't have anywhere to go. I'm talking about, honey, a romantic weekend looking at the IRA 401k statements. Look, we made this much money this quarter. What? No, that doesn't score points with your wife. You know, but if I said to my wife, hey, honey, let's go spend a romantic weekend in the 401 cabin, or would you rather go to the 401 condo? That scores points. Is this making sense? It's the same money. If I socked away money, I realize it's going to cost me $400,000 down the road because the condo and the cabin increased in value, actually tax deferred, better than the money in an IRA 401k. What's the takeaway? So here's the key takeaways. Rethink your thinking. What are you really saving that money for? What are you going to do with it at the end of the day in retirement? And instead of waiting 20 or 30 years to have the money, and then what you were going to do with the money costs 4 times as much as it did when you started, hello, at the end of the day, I would rather build a file cabinet full of memories than a bunch of, IRA 401k statements, then be able to continue to use it just like you would have used it if you would waited till you were 60 or 65 to do that, and you don't have the energy to be able to use those facilities. And so consider maybe getting a cabin or a condo or a property to have family vacations with a purpose. My radio show producer, when his folks heard this concept, they immediately started building their dream cabin, and they have thanked me several times because now they've been building memories in this beautiful cabin. In fact, they prefer the cabin even more than their home as they have been in retirement. The only regret is they wish they would have done it sooner. So there is no section in the Internal Revenue Code that's called 401 cabin or condo. That's just a terminology I've used because that's what I would be doing with the money. So why not just cut to the chase and enjoy it now? The message is smell the roses now. If this is resonating, it's aroused curiosity, I would recommend you click on this video to understand really the difference between the strivers and the thrivers, how to achieve financial independence in a unique way and not follow the herd. And you'll also have the opportunity to get a free copy of my most recent book, The Laser Fund. You just pay nominal shipping and handling fee if you would like. Again, consider a 401 cabin or condo in your life.